NASCAR Throwback Weekend is alive and well at Darlington Raceway. This is GarageCam, a special throwback style GarageCam. I'm your host, Matthew Dillner, live from Darlington Raceway. Oh yeah, and we're about to have the best damn GarageCam in town, that's for sure right there. Look at the paint schemes this weekend. A celebration in Darlington of our sports history, of our sports heritage. Oh man, the crew guys, the drivers, the media, everybody getting involved and enjoying every aspect of it, including, look at the back of Casey Mears' driver uniform there. Smokey's best damn garage in town, and Casey Mears, such a special weekend here, especially for you guys with the awesome paint scheme paying tribute to Smokey Unick.
Yeah, it's been a fun weekend all the way around just to see all the really cool cars out here. But we're honored to run Smokey Unick's paint scheme. We have Trish Unick with us here today, or not Unick at the moment.
Yes.
Yes. And just happy to have their support and to be here as well. And she's got a really cool thing here. She has one of Smokey's last original hats that he used to wear, and she was explaining how he styled it and how that hat started and what he always made it into. So you can't really find one of these on the shelf.
No.
he pretty much made everything. It sounds like he made his hats too. So
Smokey Unick was an icon of the sport. I remember the first time I saw him in the garage in Daytona, and I was kind of in awe. He was a character, but an icon in our sport and an innovator. How proud does this make you and your family feel to see the paint scheme on Casey's car?
Oh, we're just thrilled. It's such a kick. First of all, I've never seen one of Smokey's cars run, but to see the black and gold back at a NASCAR track is pretty cool.
That's awesome. And look at this hat right here. Mears,
that's got some miles on it.
That's got some miles on it. I don't think you've ever rocked anything that cool, dude.
She was explaining that obviously you said it originally started out as a white hat, is what you were saying?
Soft gray and 10-gallon, like Haas Cartwright's hat. And then he sent it to Shooty Brothers, and they blocked him down into this goofy shape. And it started silver, but as he wore it in the shop and worked in it, it's sweated on. It says Smokey in there.
There you go.
And it's shop grease all around it.
That's awesome right there. And, talk about the crew getting involved here too, because you get the best damn garage in town on the best damn insurance in town, Geico car, and everybody's just getting behind it.
It is cool. We everybody really embraces this whole thing. I think it's just like the fans and everybody else that get engaged here, the crew guys do as well. This is history that they grew up with, and it's really fun to throw it back some and play around and have a good time. And like I said, we're just really proud to run Smokey's car, and I'm partial, but I think it's the coolest car out here.
Hey, we're gonna have some fun here because Strickert's got we just got given a die cast here. Casey Mears signed this die cast right here, and we're gonna give it away on GarageCam. Let's think of a trivia question. I'm gonna say what driver got the first pole in the Southern 500, and the hint would be he's driven this 13 car. So we're gonna give away a Casey Mears die cast right here. So hashtag GarageCam, hit us up on Twitter at Geico Racing. This guy right here, CJ Mears gang. And thank you guys for joining us, the whole entire family right here, just enjoying this number 13 car in the Geico ride this weekend. Look at the side of this car. That's awesome. If you're a fan of NASCAR, if you're a fan of the history of our sport, look at that uniform right there as Bill Mars gets to work. And Bill's got the killer stash going right there. That's old school in itself right there. Pretty awesome paint scheme right there. And showing Casey Mears Smokey's uniform that she brought down. The boots, the famed jacket, the crew shirt, and then right alongside another really cool paint scheme to take a look at, Landon Castle's J.D. McDuffie tribute, Rumble Furniture, Elkin, North Carolina on the side, and some really cool little things on this car as well. Old school NASCAR Throwback Weekend. And then when we roll over here too, pretty awesome to see the number 15 this weekend, paying tribute to Benny Parsons. So pretty cool to see that. Benny Parsons, 2017 Hall of Fame inductee, driver of the number 72. And you see a little, Benny would like that right there, a little Darlington stripe. That means Boyer was there getting after it on that top groove. Benny Parsons tribute. Yes, it is number 15, not the 72, but a really fitting tribute too. But what I like about this here is this isn't a sticker. This is hand painted on the side of that 15 car. That's what makes this car unique compared to all the others. Hand painted. You can't have a throwback weekend without having STP And you look at the number 43 car right there, just so iconic to the sport, the 1979 paint scheme right there. Blaine Smith checking in our interactive chat. Looking forward to paint schemes in old school racing uniforms. Attaboy NASCAR says the 13 car of Casey Mears is cool. It sure is. First in the chat, Louis D. Donato. We're taking a look at this Richard Petty Motorsports, number 43, Eric Amarola. They got the old school hats, some old school uniforms, and having a lot of fun. Some cars over here, let's go take a look at real quick. We're gonna have to hustle a little bit for you, but Paul Menard's paint scheme Al Unser Jr. had once ran. The number 16 car here of Greg Biffle with the Alan Kowicki tribute, the Hooters sponsorship on this car, but more importantly, one of my favorite parts of this car is on the front of it. The Underbird, that's right. Alan Kowicki owned his own team and got the championship, 1992. And I'll tell you what a story that was. One of the last true great independents. And then Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s car. You know, it's being tabbed as a number 17 Darrell Waltrip tribute, but I like to think of this as just more than a Darrell Waltrip tribute. I like to think of this as a Robert G tribute. Their spotter, Mike Herman Jr., grew up around Robert G, and I'll tell you what, an icon in this sport. And so many great race car drivers drove Robert G cars. Hayward Plyler on the dirt tracks in Carolina. But that number 17 car looking slick for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. PK right here doesn't have his throwback gear on. No throwback gear. This is as bad as it gets. We got to get to some old NBC one. And as we spin through the garage here, the number 47 of AJ Allmendinger with a throwback paint scheme right there. Bruce Hill, 1975 NASCAR Winston Cup Series Rookie of the Year. This paint scheme. Very unique. That's what I like about this, having Bruce Hill on board. And the Ryan Blaney scheme. Oh boy, that's pretty neat too. Old David Pearson scheme right there. You know, some of their paint schemes have looked the same over the years, but this one, man, it's iconic. Look at those reflective numbers on the number 21. Thing of beauty. And of course, their uniforms are always looking old school. The Mark Martin tribute scheme on the Avocarry number 6 of Trevor Bayne. CJ Ward checking in on NASCAR.com GarageCam saying, hey guys, I'd love to see the throwback Mark Martin car and my driver, Tennessee's Trevor Bayne. Number 5 car this weekend for Casey Kane, a tribute scheme for the J.D. Stacy car that Terry Labonte drove. Already with a little bit of damage on this number 5 car on the left front. And you see the Goodyear tires right there, the white writing on the Goodyear tires this weekend. These yellow writing tires are just set-up ones for the scale pad. Back out into the beautiful South Carolina sunshine, and I'll tell you what, we had a hurricane roll through here yesterday, but weather is beautiful for the rest of the weekend. This is almost unseasonable weather. It's cooled off. It's still hot, the sun kissing your skin here near the saltwater coast of South Carolina, but I'll tell you what, the humidity has dropped down, and boy, does it feel good here in Darlington, South Carolina. The Dr. Pepper David Reagan ride. Practice has already taken place for the Sprint Cup Series. One more practice remains today for the Sprint Cup Series stock cars here at Darlington. A Love's Travel Stop 1980s paint scheme, harken to the days where Love's Travel Stop first started here in America. You gotta love the Kansas Jack paint scheme tribute right here, paying tribute to NASCAR Hall of Famer Richard Childress. The number 95, Michael McDowell, Thrivent Financial on board. And here's the coolest part. The unis are awesome. My favorite part, the shoes, baby, the Chucks. Gotta love them. 95, Michael McDowell. Heads up to all these sponsors, too. Shout out to all them for agreeing to have some fun this weekend as we celebrate our history and heritage of this great sport. And what a colorful history we have. You know, I love all sports, okay? I'm a football fan. I'm a baseball fan. But if you look at the colorful history of motorsports in America, you know, especially on the NASCAR side with moonshiners and all that stuff, it is an absolute, unbelievably colorful history that we have here of bravery, of perseverance. It's just unreal. Man and machine. And there's a tribute to a great man who we lost after his championship season. Another Alan Kawicki tribute. This one, the first one that was announced, of course, the Tommy Baldwin Racing Team. Regan Smith. Tony Stewart looking pretty good. So is his crew here at Darlington, and we'll get a question as we walk and talk here. How cool is this throwback stuff, man? Because that Coca-Cola scheme is one of the baddest things in the garage.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what makes this weekend so cool, is to have all these cool paint schemes and get back to the old days.
All right, Tony Stewart, one of the best-looking cars in the field, but definitely one of the best-looking crews in the field. We'll give you a look at that number 14 here in just a moment. The number 32 of Jeffrey Earnhardt, paying tribute to the late, great Dale Earnhardt with that number 32. And that's an awesome paint scheme right here, too. And, you know, we also have to say Godspeed to Betty Jane France, the First Lady of NASCAR. And how about that NASCAR International logo on these cars this weekend, too? Let's roll on towards the other side of the garage. We're about halfway through our show. The number 30 of Josh Wise. This paint scheme came together incredibly late. Asked for some funding on the internet. Some people stepped up and they did an old school scheme a la Dale Earnhardt 1976. The car that he ran at Charlotte Motor Speedway in North Carolina. Okay, folks. Quite frankly, the coolest thing this weekend, throwback weekend, might just be the uniforms here in the Stewart Haas Racing pit area. Some stellar pants, stellar paint scheme. And of course, I'm kind of geeked up over this paint scheme. I'm just going to admit it. Yeah, I love Tony Stewart. Great competitor, fun guy. But Bobby Allison, the great Bobby Allison, Hueytown, Alabama. This Coca-Cola paint scheme that he won the Southern 500 with in 1971 and 1972. An iconic paint scheme in our sport. And Bobby Allison, one of the tough guys in our sport. Guy that can work on his own stuff, get it done behind the wheel. He was a little brash at times. Sometimes so is that Indiana driver that drives this number 14, so I think it's a win-win for NASCAR. Tony Stewart's last attempt here at the Southern 500. What do y'all think about those pants, huh? The real thing. Coca-Cola, such a long time supporter of our sport. The gold wheels. You'll probably see Bobby Allison here this weekend as a part of this great celebration here in Darlington, South Carolina. Kel Yarbrough was here earlier today. They dedicated the name of this garage is now the Kel Yarbrough garage area here in Darlington. Kyle Larson's number 42 team. The big winners last week at Michigan. Melissa Mudge chiming in. May I see Kyle Larson or Tony? Well, here you go. You got them both, side by side. The number 14 and the number 42. The Gray Ghost. Oh, the paint scheme that Buddy Baker made so famous. And Dale Earnhardt was so pumped up to drive this car. Speaking with him earlier this year at the press conference here at Darlington. We drove up just from Charlotte, North Carolina to do that press conference because, man, Junior was just so pumped to do it that how could you not want to be involved in that? And, you know, as a matter of fact, after it was done, we were all texting photos back and forth to each other and enjoying the heck out of the opportunity he was going to have to drive this car. But, of course, the announcement this week that Dale Jr. is going to sit out the remainder of the season. So you'll see Jeff Gordon in this number 88 again this weekend. Alex Bowman will be filling in some as well throughout the season. So obviously our well wishes with Dale Earnhardt Jr. That goes without saying. One of the good guys in our sport. First in chat was Louis DiDonato. Hey, man, since you got the pole position, you really wanted to see this card. Dude, I got to give you a shout out. Here's your nationwide Gray Ghost number 88. It would have looked really good with the reflective numbers. At the time, NASCAR doesn't allow reflective numbers. But the 21 has it on their car now, and would have looked really cool. So, Junior, dude, you didn't get to run this car. But maybe if you run this car next year, maybe we could run it with those reflective numbers on that 88. Caterpillar rod. Throwback to the 3, kind of same font style Ricky Rudd ran when he was driving for Richard Childress Racing. And the number 1 Mac Tonight car. Man, I remember this car. 1997 was the year. And there is the number 1. And up front of this car is the driver of this Mac Tonight car, Jamie Mack. All right, Mac. Tell me about this car, man. It's pretty cool, the Mac Tonight.
Yeah, it is. It's I don't remember the year, Matt.
1997.
Yeah, it's really cool that McDonald's let us do this. I remember I was actually in the meeting when they proposed getting to do this. It's cool. It's a fun weekend. Like to see the team guys dressed up, the facial hair.
No Fu Manchu
yeah,
or
yeah,
nothing crazy for you, though.
No, pretty
mellow.
Pretty laid back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a cool weekend, fun.
If you had a dream paint scheme, you know, whether it was something from your past or something from the past in NASCAR, what do you think it would be to run?
I don't know, Matt. I haven't put a lot of thought into my dream paint scheme. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to let me think about that.
Okay.
That's a pretty serious answer
It
that
is.
you need.
It is.
And I don't know that I can just shoot that one on a whim.
No, we'll come back to you someday. All right, Jamie Mack, having some fun with his crew in the garage area here. Not fielding the serious questions, but hey, he's got a seriously cool paint scheme right here with Mac Tonight on the number 1. Austin Dillon. I gotta tell you, I really like this paint scheme right here. American ethanol on the side. There's a connection there because this number 3 paint scheme was the Piedmont Airlines paint scheme that Ricky Rudd ran, and I believe got their first win for Richard Childress Racing in that scheme, if I'm correct. But rocking back to that old Ricky Rudd scheme with that number 3 right there. And back then it was Piedmont Airlines. That was the sponsor, and now American ethanol, but American Airlines, that's kind of the connection there. I think it's kind of a unique thing there. Yeah, crew letting us see the 3 car there. Real nice guys right here. Krista Burrell, that's some amazing history right there. She must be talking about that Smokey Yunick stuff too. I got to be honest with you, I was pretty geeked up. I remember going to Daytona for the first time and looking across the garage and seeing Smokey Yunick stand there in his long coat with the Best Damn Garage in the back and that hat. And it was kind of silhouetted at first, and it was a sight to behold. Chase Elliott's number 24 car here. Talking with teammate Casey Kane in the garage area right now. There's his hat. The number 24 rocking the old school Napa logo this week. Clyde Elliott on the side of this car. Old school hats, old school paint schemes. Behind the scenes, NASCAR.com GarageCam. And here is the Tide Ride. Back in action here in the NASCAR garage. Such an iconic paint scheme in our sports history, from Darrell Waltrip to Heck, Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd's got a lot of throwback this weekend. And heck, even Kevin Harvick rocked the Tide car in the Truck Series, Tide Truck in the Truck Camping World Truck Series, and brought it to victory lane before. So the boys here all looking pretty clean in the garage area, except for Buzzy with the Tide rod. I'll tell you what, this Lowe's paint scheme, when I first heard it announced, I was like, okay, throwback Lowe's. What are you going to do throwback Lowe's? They've been involved in the sport for a long time. But this paint scheme right here is very, very unique, and it's got a very unique history here at Darlington Raceway. And it's that Rod Osterlund, number 2 car. Dale Earnhardt, rookie, 1979, drove that car. Of course, Earnhardt made a bunch of starts before that 79 season, but that was his rookie season in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series back then, the Sprint Cup Series now. But that Rod Osterlund car was pretty cool, that number 2 on it. Lowe's paying homage to Dale Earnhardt with that paint scheme. But you know what's really unique about that? And it kind of correlates to what we're going through right now. Unfortunately, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the sidelines. Well, Jeff Gordon's filling in for him. Back then, Dale Earnhardt missed, I think it was 3 or 4 races that season. I believe 4 races that season in the Osterlund number 2 car. And David Pearson filled in for Dale Earnhardt, actually winning in the Osterlund number 2, filling in a fill-in role for Dale Earnhardt at the Southern 500. So there you go, a little history for you, and a little behind-the-scenes history to this paint scheme and this unique paint scheme by the Lowe's Chevrolet of Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson, of course, I believe a 3-time winner here at Darlington. You get it done here. I remember his first race here at Darlington and seeing that Lowe's Chevrolet pull into the garage area. And back then, the young crew chief, Chad Knaus, we were all standing around the car. I was working with Totally NASCAR, and I just remember seeing the right side of the car and the fact that there really wasn't much damage on it. Jimmy Johnson could get it done up on the high side. That's where the speed is here at Darlington. You have to run inches away from that wall or else you're not going to be fast. But the precision of the California driver to not make too much contact on that wall showed that talent at such a young age. Number 78 came close last week. Some trouble on pit road with number 78. How about this right here? Denny Hamlin rocking the Darrell Waltrip paint scheme, the Junior Johnson owned paint scheme. I remember, that was a pretty cool car when Darrell and Neil Bonnet had team cars, Budweiser, Kentucky Fried Chicken on them, but we got the Sport Clips ride on here, but the Darrell Waltrip tribute, you even got a little Tide on there for Darrell Waltrip. And the old school, I like this, not just the iconic number 11 there, but Denny Hamlin written in script, just like Darrell Waltrip had written in script on his race car. Well, we talked about Darlington Stripes right there. This guy, Kyle Busch, could get it done here for sure, and he got it done into the wall a little bit with that throwback paint scheme. Hark at the days of Dale Jarrett there for Joe Gibbs Racing. You know, we were just talking to Kelly Yarbrough, and you can see that video here on NASCAR.com about them dedicating the garage to him. And he made a very interesting comment about the driver, the 4-time winner this year, Kyle Busch, in this number 18, and how he drives his NASCAR stock car, basically saying that he likes to put a whole car in where a half car belongs, and he kind of reminds him of himself in that regard. You know, every time we go up to Matt Kenseth, you just never know what you're going to get. Because half the time it's funny. Here's Kyle Busch walking through the garage. Half the time he's messing with you. You never know what you get. Speaking with Cole Pern in the garage here. All right, Matt, pretty clean looking suit and a cool looking deal here at NASCAR Throwback Weekend for the Tide Ride.
Thanks.
Thanks. It's awesome. That's awesome. So, okay, what do you think about this weekend? I know it's the obvious question, but, dude, not many weekends you can walk in the garage and everybody's just in an awesome mood.
Thanks. So yeah, I was just walking down to my Tide Pods car. I'm excited to have them on the car this weekend. I think it looks awesome. Glad to be driving it. Glad they're back in the sport. They've had over a decade off, and then
Yes.
Obviously all the rest of the throwback paint schemes is interesting. It's interesting for me to figure out who they are. The ones that are a lot older, I don't know what they're based off of, so I need to look it up. Some of the other ones are pretty neat, like the 18 was.
What do you think's the best one that you think you've seen?
Well, I was just getting ready to tell you that until you interrupted me. I think the best one by far is the Tide Pods car. Duh.
Yeah. So hey, since you're busting my chops, you're kind of getting old now. You're going to have a throwback scheme. In a few years, people might do a throwback to you. They're already doing a throwback to Smoke over there with your teammate.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love you, Matt Kenseth. Have a good day. Oh, we have too much fun on NASCAR.com GarageCam. Speaking of throwback schemes to Tony Stewart, this Pennzoil ride is just that for Joey Logano. A throwback to the Joe Gibbs Racing Bobby Labonte paint scheme. Tony Stewart also ran that Shell Pennzoil paint scheme as well in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Jimmy Johnson about to strap into that Lowe's Chevrolet over here. We have a few more minutes to go here on NASCAR.com GarageCam. A few more cars to show you. And I think I'm still laughing about Matt Kenseth. Oh, the satire, the humor of Matt Kenseth. You feeling better? Oh, yes, sir. The number 41, Haas F1 paint scheme. Of course, the Haas team on track today. Not only here at Darlington, Formula One as well. Carl Edwards, number 19, the Tony Stewart throwback scheme. The year was 1972. And this is what the Miller Lite can look like. That first year. Let's see the Penske 2 and 22 cars. Well, there is the throwback paint scheme, and guy that's kind of a throwback driver himself, pretty aggressive natured young man, Brad Keselowski, about to strap in his Penske Ford. Talking about unis, we're all talking about Smoke, we're all talking about the Coca-Cola ride, we're all talking about the 13, which I think are two of the strongest ones, which I'd like to know what you guys think as far as which one's strongest. But you got to give a tip of the hat. Tigger, I know you're loving this right now, watching on the chat. But the Busch Beer paint scheme, the tribute to Cale Yarborough, 1979 paint scheme, and the uniforms here are stellar as well. You got to love the passion behind these race teams and everybody getting behind our history. And remember, we have that die cast. I don't know. Make sure you check in on Twitter. Hit me up at Matthew Dillner, #GarageCam, and we'll give you away that a lucky GarageCam fan, that die cast of Casey Mears. That was really cool, the team and Casey, to do that and sign it for you guys here for GarageCam. So make sure you get on Twitter, #GarageCam, one word. There's the Blue Deuce. Little scuffs, little Darlington stride. Don't get fear. That means he's probably up there hunting the speed, getting fast here at the 1.366 mile speedway here in South Carolina. Oh, the sand here rolls in from the beach and messes with that aggregate and wears out the track. Place was paved a handful of years ago, but you wouldn't know it. This baby wears out some tires, and that's what we love about coming to Darlington. Those Goodyear tires wear off here within a few laps, and the lap speeds go down, and then it all gets to where it's in the hands of the driver, controlling their stock cars. Here's the Tide ride, a good look at the number 20. NASCAR Throwback weekend here at Darlington. Even got a throwback hat at you. Rocking a few this weekend. The spotters now are on top of the stand, ready to go for practice number 2 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series here at Darlington. And here they go. rolling out on the track. Hashtag NASCAR Throwback. Make sure you tune in to the Bojangles Southern 500 here from Darlington Raceway, Sunday, 6 p.m. on NBC. NASCAR Throwback Weekend continues here from Darlington, and we'll have you covered on NASCAR.com all weekend long as we celebrate our sports heritage and history at a place like no other. A true throwback, Darlington Raceway. We'll give you one final look here at that paint scheme, the number 19 car of Carl Edwards, last year's winner of the Southern 500, his first time winning here at Darlington. I was holding my little baby newborn watching the race, and this tribute paint scheme for Tony Stewart. I'm your host, Matthew Dillner. This is GarageCam, and until next time, we'll see you at the races.
You finally finished. Your entire finish perfectly.